Chances are you've heard the term gerrymandering, but have no idea what it means or how it works. And while its actual application is very complex with hardcore data mining and complex computer modeling, the premise is actually rather simple. So here we go. The example we began with yesterday has a pool of voters divided into, say, 50 blocks or polling stations. Altogether, this block of 50 has a population that would justify 5 congressional districts, each with 1 member. Sort of like Connecticut and Oklahoma. But since no population is uniform, our example needs a bit of mixing up. There we go. After each census, that data is taken and ideally used to determine services and representation according to the current demographic of the district. And in cases where populations have increased or decreased, redraw the election map. Ideally, this work would be done by a nonpartisan, independent group focused on the best proportion of representatives for the population. But the reality is nearly no group could be completely free of bias. And in the case of America, whoever controls the Senate gets to take the latest census data and through committees redraw the boundaries of each district. An equitable system would be where the percentage of the population that supports each party sees that same percentage of members going to Congress. Of course, parties are run by human beings, and as we've established many times, humans suck. So a bit of tweaking here and there is expected, natural. Still, a split reflecting the political leanings of the population in a district with this 60-40 split should see something around 3 blue representatives and 2 red ones going to their legislature. But here's the thing. The Senate, the body that does the redrawing of these maps, isn't elected this way. Each state has 2 senators. Even the ones so underpopulated they only qualify for 1 member of Congress. So the rural voice in America is often the one redrawing these maps, and for a variety of reasons that are callous, hollow, too often racist, and atypically human, they work hard to mute high-density city representation. But how, you ask? You did ask that, right? Please tell me you asked that. Since representatives are selected on the basis of populations, it should be that if 60% of a state's population was in the cities, then the cities would have something near 60%, or at least the largest voice at the table, every table. Well, this is where gerrymandering comes in, because if you're a rural representative and you control this process, then it's in your best interest to split the concentrated city voters up, watering down their voice by spreading them out among the less populous rural votes. This is called redistricting, and it's considered fair by those who benefit from it, because now the rural voices, which have a larger than fair voice in the Senate, get to even out or deconcentrate the urban voice in policy and lawmaking in Congress. And the one trick they use to mute the urban voice in Congress is to further concentrate the city vote, stuffing a larger than average population into just a few or even 1 district, while spreading enough of what's around that urban vote among the remaining rural districts so that the urban voice becomes a minority even where it clearly isn't. Then, if you've diluted the urban voice enough, and presuming the red party has power during many of these crucial redistricting periods, then the tweaking can continue until red not only has the majority of representatives, but has completely dominated and silenced the majority of the voters in those urban areas. And that's gerrymandering for beginners. On this day in 1783, Jean-François Pilatre de Rosier and François Laurent de Lalande made the first untethered flight in a large paper montgolphier hot air balloon from the Château de la Muette on the eastern edge of the Bois de Boulogne in Paris, France. The birthplace of manned flight is on the grounds of the headquarters for the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development and is completely inaccessible to the general public. I know, I've tried to get in there. Boo! It's also World Hello Day.
Bonjour.
Hello.
Konnichiwa.
Hello. World Television Day, Red Mitten Day, False Confession Day, and Stuffing Day. We need some turkey for that. And that's today's Duza Bear Digest. See you tomorrow!